Hi everyone, welcome to Introduction to Sociology. SOCI 1010, section W01, summer semester 2016. I'm your instructor, Gary Heidinger. I encourage you, as quickly as you possibly can, to make a copy of the course syllabus and read it literally from cover to cover. It's fairly elaborate, a little lengthy, but I wanted to include information that will assist you in doing the very best you can in this course. In particular, as soon as you have access to the syllabus, I want you to go over to page 5. There's been a lot of research completed with respect to non-traditional educational delivery systems, such as web-based classes. And research highlights the fact that these particular qualities or characteristics will ensure success in a non-traditional delivery type system. This is a web-based course, so much of the orientation, focus, commitment, organization is going to have to come from you. So please pay attention to these 5 points. Refer to them frequently. On that page, 5, you will note again what more or less makes up the structure of this particular course of study. There is a course text. There are a series of video lessons. There are 3 course study guides. And then over at the top of the next page, this is page 6 in the syllabus, 3 review guides. Now you can access the study guides and the review guides off of Momentum. You'll need to purchase or rent a copy of the textbook. I realize textbooks can be very expensive, but a key to doing well in this class is having access to the textbook. Without having access to the text, the study guides and the review guides, I can pretty much guarantee you're going to have serious problems in this course. But this is early on, and I suspect what interests most of you at this point in the game is, what exactly do I have to do to exit this particular class with as high grade as is possible? So note down at the bottom of the 6th page of the syllabus, there will be 3 exams. Now, I've explained the structure of these 3 exams, not only on page 6, but over on page 7 as well. Note that the first 2, structurally speaking, are going to be pretty similar. There'll be 2 discussion questions, followed by somewhere in the area of 25, 26 multiple choice type questions. Now, on the first exam, you'll have 4 discussion question options. Note, if you will, A, B, C, and D. You'll pick any 2 that you feel best qualified, and I will highlight, there is, again, on Momentum, a resource you can turn to with respect to what will those discussion question options be. Now, the second exam, as I've explained again down at the bottom of the 6th page, and then if you continue on over the top of the 7th page, one discussion question, you won't have an option. It's going to deal with 2 very, very important concepts, ethnocentrism and cultural relativism. The other discussion question will have at least 2 options, A and B. You'll pick the one you feel best qualified to answer. Now, I've given you kind of a point focus that you can expect with respect to the discussion questions and the multiple choice questions. Now, the 3rd exam, I'm going to call it a final, but it's not truly a final in that it is not comprehensive. It's going to cover materials that we've analyzed since test number 2. And if you'll notice, it's going to consist of multiple choice questions only, 40 of them. And I'm going to include at least 2, more likely 3 multiple choice extra credit questions on each of the exams. Now, if you'll notice again, a little more than midway down on page 7, I've highlighted what's going to be included in terms of video lessons chapter assignments, etc. for Exam 1, Exam 2, and Exam 3. Now, it's very important that you understand, and I've highlighted this on your syllabus on page 7, that the course exams will have to be completed at one of 3 Roane State Testing Center locations: the Oak Ridge Branch campus, the Roane County campus, or the Cumberland County campus. Now, I've had some students in the past that got a little upset with me, telling me that the whole reason I took a web-based class is I figured I didn't have to come into a Roane State facility. I want to emphasize very strongly, I'm not the only Roane State instructor, or for that matter, the only instructor around the country at a collegiate level that requires students to come into testing centers. This is widespread. A lot of Roane State faculty employ it, and it is still widely used around the country as well. I realize it's going to be an inconvenience, but at the same time, it's important that you understand you will have to take the exams at one of those 3 testing centers. Now, if you will notice over the top of the next page, this is page 8 in your syllabus. You can take the first exam anytime between June the 7th and June the 23rd. You pick the time that's most convenient for you. Be alerted to the fact that testing centers operate on different schedules. It's important that you go into the Roane State website, check into the testing center hours, particularly the testing center that you think you're going to be using for the 3 exams for this course. The second exam will have to be completed between June the 24th and July the 13th. And then the third exam, July the 14th to July the 29th. So that first exam's got to be completed by no later than June 23rd, the second no later than July the 13th, and the third by no later than July the 29th. Now, as I've noted on page 8, don't become a Gary Heidinger. I procrastinated big time as an undergraduate, and it always blew up in my face. So don't put this off until the last minute to take the exam. You never know what unexpected events might occur. And be alerted to the fact, this is important that you remember, the testing center will not admit students for testing 45 minutes prior to the posted closing times. Give yourself at least an hour and a half to complete the exam. I don't think you'll need that much time, but there is that time available. Now, I've given some information in the syllabus about unique situations. I don't expect this to happen, but should you get in a bind and you have to miss an exam, you'll notice again what you've got to do in order to make up the missed exam. Now, in addition to the 3 exams, there is one other key evaluation process that will make up the course, and that's what I call an action learning project. Now, what I want you to do is to select a film. Use that film to highlight key sociological models, concepts, and notions. I've given you quite a bit of information in terms of project guidelines. I want this to be a paper. You're going to write it up. So in part of your grade is going to be based on how well you write. So watch your punctuation. No chicken scratching. Really think this through. I'm interested in your take, not somebody else's, but your take. Your take. That's going to be the key. So don't use somebody else's notions and ideas. Use your own. But on the one hand, what you might want to do with this project is to, again, apply the major models that we're going to discuss. Functionalist, conflict, symbolic interactivist. Can you apply these 3 to the content of the film itself? Were there any key concepts that we've discussed that you saw highlighted in the film? If so, how? Like ethnocentrism, like power, like ethnicity, like social interaction and social networks, group dynamics, bureaucratic structures, self-awareness, and the like. This is up to you. There's no right way to do this. The key thing is I'm interested in your sociological interpretation of the film itself. And my hope is that you will find in the list I've included, starting over on page 10, a film that will meet your particular needs. That list continues on over to the 11th page of the syllabus. Now, should you look through this list and you find, I'm not really sure I want to use any of these, do you have another film in mind? Run it by me. I'm pretty flexible. Most of the time, I'll probably say go with it as such. Now, notice this action learning project is due the 22nd of July. You can use the Dropbox feature in Momentum, or you can send your completed project as an attachment to my RadarNet address. Be alerted. If you complete a second project, you can get up to 8 points of graded extra credit. Now, what I mean by that is you're not just going to get 8 points for writing something. It'll be graded, but this is an extra credit option. Now, notice if you decide to do that, it's also due the 22nd of July. Now, I won't take any extra credit projects late, but notice just in case you get into a bind and you have to turn in your main project late, you're going to lose some points. Be alerted to that. Now, on the 11th page and on the 12th page, there's some information about the general grading scale as well. I really think to do well in this class, you need to read the syllabus. I rarely, if ever, got syllabi when I was an undergraduate. It's a much more common practice today. And unfortunately, I think some students don't exploit the syllabus to the degree that they should. This is sort of a contract between you and me. Furthermore, in the syllabus, you're going to find valuable information that will help you to do very well in this course. In a lot of ways, this course should be the easiest you take as an undergraduate because we're going to be dealing with events, circumstances, happenings that you are aware of. So one of the things I hope that you will do early on in the process, apply the content of the class to your life. That's really how you ought to study as you prepare for the major examinations. I remember a student some years ago telling me that, well, he includes on his exam nothing that he covers in class. Now, if that student were focused and committed, they would realize very quickly how completely wrong that comment was. It's anything but that. What I discovered is that this student wasn't interested in applying the data. All this student wanted to do was to memorize it and then puke it up on the exam verbatim the way they memorized it, and they expected the questions on the exam to be set up in exactly the way that they were memorized. That's not going to happen in this class. You will find some questions on the exam, multiple choice questions, that will be what I call recall. Maybe you have a concept and the options are a definition, or you have a definition and you've got to line it up with a particular concept. You can expect some of those. But there's also questions that I want you to do more than just memorize the concept. I want you to put it into action. So think of examples as you study this material. If you memorize, fine, go ahead and do that. But apply it to what you see going on around in your life. If you can't come up with an illustration that relates to your life, what about a friend? What about a family member? Is there a television program, a news event that you've witnessed that allows you to put into action the content of the course itself? So as you study, try to apply it. Come up with real life situations and circumstances or examples. The textbook is full of them. Allow me to help. If you've got questions about anything you don't fully understand, I will be more than happy to go over it with you. It's not my intent and purpose to give you a hard time. You've got too many people in your life that are willing to do this for free and they delight in doing it. I'm not one of them. I want you to take something from this course you can use the rest of your life. Look at it this way. After you exit college, you may never again complete any kind of complex mathematical equation. You may never again peer through a microscope. You may never again analyze events and circumstances that lead to some major historical development like a world war. You may never again debate the contents of a poem written by Emily Dickinson or the philosophical orientations espoused by Aristotle. But I can tell you something you'll be doing the rest of your life, interacting with people. That's what this course is about, interaction. You're going to be asked to look at a way of living you've long taken for granted. Think about viewing it as seeing it for the first time. That's the best way, okay? You and I are unique individuals. You and I have the capacity for personal choice. But our choices, our options, are powerfully affected by larger social factors that we sometimes overlook. These social factors may limit certain options available to us or open some up. Those particular elements are going to influence how we think about ourselves and how other people perceive us, and in turn how we perceive other people. This is really a course that deals with daily social interaction, what makes us tick socially. In psychology, the focus is more on the individual. What is it about you that's unique and makes you who you are? In sociology, we're looking at how we're shaped and influenced by our interaction with others. Welcome aboard. I hope you will find this an exciting excursion. Until later.